Hello everyone to today's video. In today's video we will be talking about transforming our data from our data sheets in Microsoft Excel before importing them in Microsoft Power BI. Transforming sheets like this into reports and dashboards that will end up looking like this. To get a firmer grasp and a more crystalline visualization and perspective on the learning targets here, I'm going to go over them one by one because they will all outline the core objectives in mastering how to make dashboards and reports with Microsoft Power BI, including understanding the data presentation and ensuring effective communication, while also leveraging visualization techniques. Those will be the learning targets fit. And one of the main points of all this is crafting effective titles using headers. Headers are important because they provide context and clarity to data. A well-crafted title or header indicates the key message and guides the audience through the report, ensuring interpretation aligns with the intended narrative. Or in other words, headers are a very good way of being able to tell people what the data is about because they are the most assertive points of data in your tables, in your spreadsheets that help you make your reports and dashboards. Because effective titles convey the central theme of the report, and they all reflect the big idea and help engage in the audience's interest, encouraging them to consider the data in a broader context. That's one thing, and that's what communicating the big idea is about. Now, transforming data for visualization. Data aesthetics are one of them because they play a vital role in visual storytelling. By beautifying how data appears in sheets, clarity and engagement increase, making it easier for viewers to extract insights and meet business objectives. And effective reports leverage transform data to drive decisions. By integrating visually appealing data points into reports, you can quickly grasp key metrics and trends essential for strategic planning. And so, another point that we're going to go over is filters and cards, and we're also going to be going over visuals in this step. Utilizing filters for data selection. They allow users to focus on the most crucial data, enhancing clarity and relevance, because they empower the decision making by narrowing down vast data sets to specific, actionable insights. And the thing about cards is that they display key metrics at a glance, prioritizing essential data points. And they drive attention to significant performance indicators, promoting informed decision making. And as far as assertive visuals go, they communicate data effectively, and they use graphs and charts as well as pie charts and the like, simplify complex information, and it makes the data interpretation intuitive for users who are willing to take a grasp at what data is about and which of the portions are the biggest on the charts and the visuals. And as far as widgets go, they enhance user interaction with the dashboard, allowing for intuitive data exploration because they feature stuff like sliders and drop downs, which provide personalized user experience by tailoring data views based on user preferences.
First, in order to do that, my data and all my headers are in cells like this, and they're not really they're not separable right now. So what we're gonna do is we can, in order to separate them so that we can put them in their respective columns and cells, we go into data, and under data you can go to text columns. You let it stay as the default selection, that delimited. You keep that selected and click next. So now just make sure you see here down below data preview of what the data will look like. Does its magic here once we've finished all the procedures. And my delimiter here is the comma, so I have comma checked here, and that's what separates that. See, your delimiter could be anything. It could be semicolon, it could be a colon, it could be a echo, tilde, hyphen, or anything. You just need to put it in here and check this box. But since we have commas here, we're gonna set it to comma. And then once that's done, we finish. And as you can see here, it successfully modified the table for us to where that actually has its own headers on the top and all the data that's underneath it and in their columns here. So now here under sales and profit, since these are monetized values, hence the name sales and profit. So I'm gonna go ahead and go to the home tab right here, right? And I'm gonna go ahead and put them in accounting number format, and I don't really want there to be decimal forms like this, so I'm gonna put it back. Yeah, you click this to make it go back like this, and here we have them monetized. Another thing I want to point out is that there are some data here I want to change, and it doesn't sit right with me. So I'm going to get back to you once I've perfected it the way I want to perfect it. So. For now, I feel like my data table looks good and everything. So I'm going to send this over to Power BI here.
Okay. So before you get into Microsoft Power BI, you must download it from the Microsoft Store. I'll show you the different types of variants of the application itself, Power BI, that you can download. Power BI Desktop and Power BI Report Builder. Report Builder is basically like a light version of Power BI Desktop because Power BI Desktop has more functionalities than it, and this is specializing mostly in making reports, but this one also not only makes reports, but it's also is for being able to specialize in visual analytics, being able to make dashboards, and is a lot more multi-purpose than the other variant of it. In this case, that it would be the report builder. So we're going to go ahead and install it. If you haven't already, it's going to say install, but I already installed it, so it says open. And once it's done installing, you go ahead and boot on Microsoft Power BI.
But before we proceed, make sure that you've checked that whether or not you've saved your spreadsheet in Microsoft Excel or Google Sheets or whatever you're using. But if you're using Excel here, like I am, we're gonna go ahead and open up a blank report. Then we're going to import data from Excel. We're not going to put it as is because we're going to transform some data here. Because there's actually some data I want to transform here. So we're going to go ahead and see where I put the... Here you are. Wait for that to load it. It will show you a data preview here, Microsoft Power BI of your table. So I'll transform it right here. And before I modify it and reload it, I'm going to want to change all these values. So we're going to go ahead and click on replace values. I'm going to replace it. Everything looks good. I've updated my values here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and close on apply to apply the changes. On your screen, it's going to take some time to load. Mine is already loaded, so it's going to show you the country data table in this data panel right here, and you can click on this to expand to show all the headers of the rows of that table, and these will be used as the titles. You can actually use them as the axes, as the data fields for legends and whatnot. I'm going to start off with the bar chart here. So what I'm going to do is not only am I going to put a bar chart, but I'm also going to want to put a map on here. I'll put the map onto the right side, just so like you get a better vision of it, and I'll expand it just for the simplicity of being able to get a hold of everything of our data we're able to see. So I'm going to start this off by setting country here, and I'm going to set profit over here. As you can see here, it's been generated right now. You can see the profit of every single country here. But I feel like it's not enough, so I also want to be able to see the sales as well. So instead of putting that here, I want to be able to see the sales. That's a bit better now. But I also want to be able to see the product category of the country, what their biggest asset is. So I'm going to also be wanting to put it under something called tooltips here. Now I'm going to drag this in there. and it actually shows up when it brings up the pop-up outline to the bubble. For example, the US is electronics, and when we go over here, China is also electronics as well. And now onto the bar chart. I'm going to do something similar, but it's going to be a bit more simplistic than that. Instead, I want to do state and province. We'll see how much they made in sales. We'll click on region. Expand that. And what do you know? Everything that's color-coded based on their region. And you can see how much the sales have been made for each region as well. And you can even hover over to see the sum of sales. What's even more fun about this is you can actually click on any piece of the data and it will auto-navigate to that exact region here on the map. Pretty cool. Now what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna put up cards, and we're also gonna tamper with the visuals as well, and be able to get a hold of it and actually make this all stand up. So I adjusted the layout of the report here, so before I make it a bit better here, I'm going to go ahead and go into the insert menu, and under insert we're going to go ahead and choose a rectangle. We're going to put the heading here, and once I do that, I'm going to also change the color to make it really stand out. And since I want a heading here, we're going to use text for that. So you go into the text box. I'm going to type my own title. Feel free to type whatever you would need to. I'm going to do this title. It's a random title, but I need something to make it stand out. And once we've finished all the adjustments and changing the font size and whatnot, changing the font size is pretty crucial here. I'm going to make it white for this next step. Now, since we have this selected, we're going to go to properties. Make sure that I'm going to look at the aspect ratio, and I'm going to make this about 6 inches. I'm going to make it like this, about 75. Or 80 years. Yeah, 75 as well. I'm going to close this, and then we're going to go to effects. We're going to make the background completely transparent so it makes the text 100% visible. And to make it really stand out, I'm going to put it in bold. And as you can see here, we have a header here to really make the report stand out. And the next thing I want to talk about is cards. Make the information stand out as well, and not just in the layout, because there's more to making reports in Power BI like this than presentations, than just headers. So if you're looking to make a card, you're going to have to click on this right here. What I want to look into are the nominal sales of everything across all countries worldwide. So what I'm going to do is click on sales. It's going to show you the sum of sales here. And that is pretty much sales of every single one of them. But you could look at the variance, standard deviation and whatnot of it, but we're going to do the nominal sales because it's more convenient that way. I'm done with the visuals on the cards, and as you can see here, it has the sum of sales across all countries here. And another topic I want to touch down, when you're making maps with legends like this, you can also put more categories in these fields. Like, for example, I put city on there. You'll see that there's not much that would change. That's because country is the dominant header in this instance, so unless you want to actually see it, you're going to have to put city on top. When you do that, that's how you let it know city has a higher priority than country. And as you can see, it changed accordingly. It changes its own size accordingly with the nominal sales of each and every one of them. Like how Munich has 200 million, and then New York here has 1.2 million. So pretty cool about that one as well. Another thing I want to touch on, if you want to be able to find out the sales of more than just one region on the map, you can press and hold Control on the keyboard and multi-select, and you can see the nominal sales increase and actually give you the updated result as you keep clicking on the random regions on the map. You can even still continue to drag, and it won't hinder your progress. And as you keep doing this, it will update. And so that's another cool feature that you can use when making reports like this in Microsoft Power BI using your data tables from Microsoft Excel, whether you're using SQL tables, whether you're using anything else.
Another final thing I am going to go over before I wrap up the video is Q&A widget visuals. As you can see here in the visualizations panel, there's an icon to click on for the Q&A widget. You bring that up and it will show it here, and it's already been pre-made and set up for us. And additionally, you can also see that likewise that it also has suggestions here relating to the data that we have here, and these are the suggestions it supposedly thinks that we might ask it. These are like the optimum ideal suggestions from the perspective of the Q&A itself, or in this case, Power BI itself. And these widgets are used primarily to help provide information on the prompts you provide according to your data from your table that you have put and applied into your dashboard, or in this case, report. But let's just say, for example, I want to put my own prompts in here, my own questions in here that I want to ask to it. Let's see how many regions there are. There are 6 regions, as you can tell from the legend here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's say I want to go ahead and see how many cities there are. 19 cities are within this data that are actually labeled here, of all the cities in the world. And another thing, if I want to get a bit more descriptive with it, I can just go ahead and find the nominal total sales for New York City and Madrid. As you can see here, it says 1.28 billion. We're going to go ahead and confirm that for an added measure. So New York and Madrid indeed equal this amount for the most part. So that confirms that. And based on the structure of the question or prompt that you type in here in the search bar of the Q&A, Power BI will actually provide suggestions here, as I said before, that will help you answer the question you type in by the keywords that Power BI recognizes that are derived from the data of your imported spreadsheet in this panel, or basically data derived from the headers and the subheaders of the columns that you embedded here in your spreadsheet. Those are the keywords in question. And that's all to know about Q&A widget visualizations. And that's all for this video on being able to beautify and make your reports and dashboards in Power BI like this, derived from the data tables and spreadsheets that you make in Microsoft Excel. Being able to make your reports and dashboards as interactive and convenient as this. And thank you all for watching this video. And if you like this video, leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you in the next one.